Well, hello there. How's your day been so far? Mine is not too bad. Spent a bit of time doing taking down the Christmas lights. I did manage to get a run in. I ran about 2 miles. Considered running further, but that's stuff I wanted to do. Anyway, got about an hour or so before dinner. I know, I always do this just before dinner. It's because I try to be productive throughout the day and do things with my time. Oh, but yeah, I mean, side projects are fun, but I've got other things to do, right? Anyway, that being said, we're continuing with our Resident Evil sort of somewhat-ish recreation. Here's our beautiful, beautiful Jill. She's in. And I've got my C++ mostly set up. I do want to add one more component to here. New C++ class. I'm going to go all the way down and set up the Unreal interface. We were going to do this a little while ago, and I just wanted to make sure that I was on the correct track. So I am going to make the Unreal interface. I'll just do this as RE because it's going to be an RE interface, and that's going to be in my systems folder. And I'll create it. Yay. I won't be setting up the interface in this one, most likely. I think I have enough time to get the player controller and the basic movement functions working. So, anyways, that is the goal. I think live code is having a seizure. Well, while that's figuring itself out, I'll go ahead and get it so that I can actually see the chat. I was looking at some other options to do like a chat overlay that that I can always see. But then that might be captured in stream, so it's like meh. You have 2 chat boxes. Okay. All right, so that's there. That's there. Compiling is still compiling. Oh, I was expecting it to totally have a fit. Oh, I think it's waiting for me to hit reload. Yes. So a live coded session that did not crash. Nice. Yay. Oh, right. So that ended up failing because I did not change the address here. Once again, it's trying to predict the fact that this is in a different folder, but because this actually exists inside the folder that it's in, we don't actually have to specify to look in that folder. Alright, well, IntelliSense is figuring itself out. Let's see, let's jump on to... What do I need for the player? Let's go to my player. Let's get the .h file and the .cpp file. This is what we have to start with. Some things I'm not going to be using. So you can build all of your inputs on the player. There's no harm in doing that. I prefer to have the inputs built on the player controller and then have the player controller talk to the player. That way, if I want to swap out characters, I don't have to write the same inputs over and over and over again. I can have one place for the inputs to be, and all the characters kind of get that information. It's kind of like doing a an interface between the player controller and the character, sort of. You can do it that way. You can actually have an interface on the player controller that talks to various characters. I'm not going to do it that way, but I am going to get rid of this call here for the setting up the player input. I don't need that. I'll keep the tick. And then on the default player, I'm trying to think of things that I need versus don't need. I'm not setting up a camera here, so I don't need to do that. I'm not... I mean, I could set up the camera here. But if we're gonna do cameras that swap position, maybe setting up a camera isn't necessary. I'll worry about that in a minute. Let myself process what I want to do with that. Okay, in my .h file, I need to remove this because I'm no longer using it. Okay. I don't think of any variables that I need on my player. What did we put on the other player? I don't think we did. I think on the object we were talking to, we had a variable for... I'm not worried about that. I need to be focusing on inputs. So I need some functions for inputs. I'll do it under public, I guess. I'm going to do a virtual, or sorry, not virtual, I'm going to do a void, and this is going to be, I've got the movement separated, so I have a move forward, move backward, and then I have a turn left and right. So I'm going to do move forward. This is going to be using, we're using the enhanced input, so let me see what those take in. I think they take in F input action values. Yeah. So yeah, so that needs to be a constant F input action value. This is going to get all mad and angry because we have to actually import the stuff for this. So it's kind of interesting. Actually, before I go too far, yeah. And that needs to be, I need to finish that line. I'll call that value. Okay, so this guy, I need to get this. Now, whenever you're adding a .h file, you have to put it before the .generated file. It gets mad if you don't. This one is enhanced. Oh, sorry. Enhanced input was that subsystem. I can double check. This is a long thing. It's in public, and then enhanced input component.h. Okay. Now it's going to get mad. It says, hey, I can't find that. So this is where it gets kind of weird. So everything's moving to the new input system. And I'm in 5.23. The new input system is pretty much well established, right? But for a lot of this stuff to be captured in the include, I have to actually go through, where's my my build.cs file? So the build.cs file is generated when Unreal makes the project. And on this public dependencies module here, the default has, you know, your system core, your UObjects, your engine, and whatever not. But for whatever reason, they have not yet made it to where they include the enhanced input in here. So we need to make sure that that dependency is in. And I think it's just called enhanced input on there. Let me double check. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing over here. It's so bright. I mean, it didn't give me a red squiggly, so it's probably the correct spelling, but I'm going to double check. Where's my source folder? Yeah, that's correct. All right. Yeah. So I save that, and then I can jump back over. Where's my character.h file? Now this is all red and angry. I'm like, well, I just added that in. How come it's not going? You have to generate your CPP files, which is kind of annoying. So I'm going to exit this. I'm going to see if I need to regenerate the entire body. I think I can just do it over what's currently here. So I'm going to try it without doing the extra work. Generate Visual Studio project files. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. How is your day going so far? Did that finish? Yeah, I think it did. All right. So now I will reopen this. For whatever reason, it's been targeting 2019. We need 2022. Now, if this doesn't connect, then I have to go through and delete those modules and let it rebuild. Everything ready and going through. Starts off red and angry. Let's let it take a second to refresh. It's still thinking. Okay, so that didn't catch. So I'm going to have to remove those files. It's really annoying. But let me before I do that, let me just double check my spelling here. No, it looks like it's spelled correctly. So, and I have to go in and do the thing that I don't want to do, which is fine. I gotta get rid of the binaries. I'll keep the I'll keep config. Get rid of the intermediate and the saved file, and I'll get rid of the solution. I think I'll get rid of the VS config. Do I need to get rid of the VS file? I don't think so. Get rid of those. And then I'll regenerate. So what this does, it goes through and it links all those dependencies. Crap. It's defaulting to 2019. New jerk face. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of stuff with me fumbling around and banging my head against the wall. Like when I do like a tutorial or whatever, I take the time to, you know, cut out all the mistakes or any of the downtime that goes in between. But I think it's, you know, useful to know that, you know, I'm not a genius. You know, I'm figuring this stuff out as much as I'm teaching it. So. Come on, you. All right, so now here comes the real test. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can just run it. Sometimes it'll give me a red squiggly and I can still run it. Let's check. Ah, it's catching here. Let me comment that line out. Actually, I commented that line while it was building, so it probably wasn't happy with that. That's annoying. Let me do a build. Three failed. If we can run it. Still doesn't want to open that file. Pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, enhanced input. It's in the public folder. Enhanced input component.h. Okay. Where's my build.cs file? No, that's spelled correctly. Huh. Let's see if there's something else that I'm overlooking here. Open RE character generated.h. Why? Probably because it's failing this line here. Well, I generated CPP files. That's incredibly annoying. Why is it not just built in? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. By the way, this is probably one of the most common things you'll see in the Unreal Engine forum threads, is this thing breaking. Like in this last year, it's probably one of the number one. I'm really talking out of my butt, but I know I've asked questions, and I've seen hundreds of other people ask questions about this. Well, you know what they say, definition of insanity. Trying the same thing, expecting a different result. So I'm going to go ahead and just nuke all these. I don't think I need to worry about that. We'll get rid of the binaries. VS file. And I really hate getting rid of the config file, but I'll go ahead and nuke the config. And I will rebuild the entire thing. So the part that you don't see, like when I'm doing like a tutorial, is if I get something broken, you know, I might spend half an hour trying to figure out what, you know, going through the debugging process, and then I'll be like, okay, this is what the problem is, and this is how we're gonna fix it. You don't get to see me fumbling around. But I think that process is important because it teaches. Why did I do that again? Why would I expect that to actually go to where it needs to go? I think that process is important. I actually had a student a couple years ago who, when we would do live sessions in class, we would go through and do live debugging. He found that to be very helpful because you have to learn how to think, and thinking is hard for a lot of people. I mean, thinking is hard in general. People don't like having to think. You know, so having to go through the process and seeing how other people handle those problems and what kind of steps that they take to work through those issues can be very helpful. And this is a mix of the scientific method as well as just trying things out. So, all right. So I did a full rebuild on that. Let's see how this plays out. Because if this part is busted, I can't go anywhere else, and I can't move forward. So. That is true, I haven't done that yet. There are some extensions that I have not installed for this version of Unreal. That could be one of my issues here. Go ahead and hit not on that. Huh. Still catching at this file. Let's go ahead and hide it. And a successful launch. So it is catching there. That seems to be the only error. But I don't see any misspellings. And I will cancel the solution there. Enhanced input / public enhanced input component.h. Yeah, I can't think of another reason why that would be failing here. Because it's in the build.cs file. Oh, that's the target. Yeah, there's no difference between this one and that one. Well, let's just manually rewrite the line. maybe I'm too close to see what the issue is. No, still will not open this file. To be fair, I haven't tried building anything in the new version, so let's see what the forums have to say. I can't open enhanced input source file in a blank C++ project in Visual Studio 2022. So the solution here is to do as I did. I deleted, you know, my source files here, or not the source. You need the source, but saved your solution, intermediate, binaries. Yeah, I did that, and I generated C++ files. Yep, that's the solution. Which I've already done, but I mean, I'm happy to do it again. You saw me, it's on video. Do I want to save the current project? Yeah, I'll save. Alright, let's try this again. Get rid of intermediate, saved, and binaries. Specifically, which is what this solution says to do. Yeah, saved, intermediate, and binaries. I'll nuke them again. And I will generate C++ or Visual Studio project files again. Whoops. That's finished, right? Okay. That will open in 2022. Still catching. Yep, we're dead in the water. Can't do anything. just so you can see the same thing I'm looking at. So this is the problem we're having. We've already done all this. This is the part that we're trying to load, which is that. Well, we're not doing enhanced input component generate.h. That's a different thing. But process is the same. So we're doing enhanced input here. This is the solution. Well known, well documented for this being the solution. But it's thrown a flag here. How about down here? Let's see. Yeah, I was hoping this would be a lot more productive of a video, but I guess not. Yeah. No idea. No clue. This isn't the first time I've done this, but it is the first time I've done it in 5.3.2. So maybe there's something I left off when I brought everything in. So I'm going to go ahead and comment that line out. I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to do the silly thing, which is check to make sure the plugin is active. It should be, because we were using enhanced input should be on by default. But why should this even be a thing? You know, if they want us to use enhanced input, why not have that as the default? I know, it's gradually being phased out. The old input system is being phased out, and they're moving to the new input system. But as of 5.2, I don't think 5.1, but 5.2, enhanced input is already switched on, and that is the primary. So if I go into, also this got reset because I deleted the config file, so I have to reset this. So maps and modes, I'll throw that on here and throw the desired map on here. Okay. So if I go down to input, I should see enhanced input already set to, so as the default input class, enhanced input is here. You can see the old one is here. I can use it. I can switch to it, right? But this is already set, which should mean the plugin's already running. But whatever. Enhanced input's on. Yeah. So that's not the issue. Let's load our other map. I can try grabbing it without that address. It seems to be quite happy about that. Let's see if that runs. And that runs. It's weird. On this project, I did use the extended address, and it runs. But on this one, without the extended address, it is happy. Okay, well, that's something. Let's see, is that going to be catching? That catches? Yes. All right, so we're going to continue on, void, move backward. And then this will also be a constant F input. Hi. I'll lowercase these just to be. So if you're used to C#, you might be like, what the heck's going on here? Why are these little and symbols there? This just means to pass this by reference. So constant sets this to something that's not going to be changing. And then, so it's saying, hey, I want to take in a value. Once I get this value, I don't really expect this to change much. It will be changing on the next frame when it's passed into the next moment, but on that frame it should not be modified. But we're taking a reference of that value, which lets us kind of modify the value as its own thing without needing a full reach into that object type. But, okay, so those are there, and we're going to build these in our CPP file. So I'm going to come on in here, find a good spot, void, move forward, and the signature line is the exact same. So whatever you declare in your H file, that's going to be the signature line that you declare in your CPP file, except now you're going to write the full code body. Again, it's going to be a constant f input action value, and it's going to reference the value. Except now, I can write some stuff to actually write that code. And of course, Visual Studio will build these for us, so I can just go ahead and do a quick action. Create definition, yes. And it'll make that for me. And then this one, create definition, yes. Make that for me. Okay. And then because I'm inside of this class here, so the class that I'm in is my RE character. There's a little prefix because every character is an actor, so that's what that prefix is. So my RE character, this is the constructor, and you can see every function that I call inside of this class needs to have the namespace of this class on it. So down here, this is technically okay, I could run it, but I'm supposed to put the signature on here. Okay. Now I prefer move forward before move backward. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Are we leaving? You're lame. Okay, so this is about as far as we managed to get. We built these, we got that running. For whatever reason, it would not run it with that address, but I'm doing it over here, so okay. Let's see. She's probably going to keep hounding me, so I'm going to stop here, and maybe we'll have some time to fill these in and actually get those running. I also have to do a lot of includes for what is needed on the player controller. Let me go ahead and do that. So that's a .h file. So on my player controller, I will need the input components. So include, and I can do this pretty quick. That's going to be the input action.h. And I also need to include input action value.h. I'm going to need those for later, so might as well get those in here now. I'm not using the old input system, so I can leave that stuff off. Yeah. Okay, and then I will stop here, and then when I come back, I'll build this out so that we can get these inputs going. Yay! Thank you for joining me. I'll see you later.